Day trading recap, Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. It's a little past 1 o'clock and pretty much done for today. CVET, Covetrus, was a big mover today. A lot of people were trading it. You see on the daily chart, it dropped big time today. A lot of action in the pre-market. I could not find a way in. It was moving way too much for me. But once it started, I did see an opening here right below VWAP, volume weighted average price, at around 1390. It was below a whole number, below 14. And at 1390, you could have put your stop above VWAP at around 1417. It would have been a big stop, 27 cents, at least relative to my trades. It's pretty big. Usually my stops I try and keep my stops somewhere between 12 and 18 in that range. If it's any bigger than that, I usually have to reduce my share size, and so it's kind of tough for me sometimes. But this is where I would have gotten in right here, 1390. I didn't put a little marker, but I was thinking about this, and then it just fell off a cliff. So that would have been a good short. I know a lot of people traded that today. And then if you look on the 5-minute chart with the 8 EMA and the 20 SMA, you can see here it crossed, and after that cross, it had a nice move back up a little bit. Still kind of whippy a little bit, but I think it's probably looking like it could end up turning green today if it makes another significant move up here. You can see on the 15-minute chart, it's right below that 10 EMA, and now it's above it. You could put your stop. The level I'd probably put it back around is around 1328, so it'd be a 50-cent stop right now where it stands. But yeah, I could not get into Covetrus, but that was the big one today. Another stock that I was looking at, and I did put a marker where I wanted to get in, and I'm kicking myself for not. TME, 10-cent music. This was also showing up in my pre-market scan. I wanted to get in right here, and you can see why on this VWAP chart. This is the 200 moving average on a 5-minute period chart. Look at this nice move up. This is the wedge pattern I always talk about. I have a scan that looks for these kind of trades. It moved up pretty nice and tight, and then I wanted to get in right here at 1444, and then look what happened right after that. I mean, it went all the way up to 1535, almost a whole dollar. Came right back down, but I mean, at that point I would have been out all my shares, probably even closer to 15 before it even got up to that peak there. So I'm kicking myself about that one, but I did have a nice short in BE, Bloom Energy, which I will show you. This was also a pre-market scan, and I think because it gapped, I can show you where it gapped. Again, if you're new to day trading, gaps are big. This is what you want to focus on because it's much easier to find stocks that'll move. So it gapped down. I think it was on earnings. I'm not 100% on what it was. I know CVET was earnings. Yeah, it had earnings this morning. So, or was it late? It might have been earnings after hours yesterday. Let me see if it moved. Yeah, it might have been after hours yesterday. So yeah, after hours yesterday had earnings, and then it just dropped all this morning or in the pre-market. So I was watching it early on, and big drop, came back up to VWAP. Got above it, failed it again, got above it, and then failed again. So right there I said, all right, it failed VWAP basically 3 times. It was started above it, dropped, got above it again, failed it, got above it again just momentarily, and then failed it again. And I said, so this level right here, this 538, basically that level, probably a good place to put your stop. I got in at 519 right there, and I put my stop basically right above at 532. So only a 13-cent stop, but then I got a nice drop here. Look at this, nice drop. It came quickly, so I took some of my shares out here at 505, just 14 cents. But I held on to some shares, and I rode it out through this nice sideways action here, which is never, you never want to see that really. But look what happened here, and I'll show you on the 8 EMA because that's really what I was tracking here. Again, this is the kind of shorts that I love. Stocks that gap down and then eventually use the 8 EMA as resistance, and that 20 catches up to it. That's another reason why I get in. As soon as that catches up, I said, okay, this could be a nice drop here, and that's usually when it happens, right after those 2 moving averages catch up, if you get a nice tight pattern. So again, got in 519, took some out 514, it went down. My actual first target, I took some out early here because I was a little nervous how quickly it went down. My first target was actually around the 493 area. So it kind of peaked, it just peeked its head below that, but came back up. again using that 8 EMA as resistance, and then I got a nice drop, a quick drop here, all the way down to about how low did that go? 482. I got the rest of my shares out at 486, so just a little above the low of the day, or the low of this little period here. So 486 from 519. So that's a pretty decent. That's a pretty decent move. And 33 cents, I'll take it, especially since I had taken some of my shares out here. I wanted to get a bigger gain than just like my first target, so that was pretty good. And then you can see it regressed right back to that 8 EMA. So I don't know what it's going to do. It's not as tight. The candles aren't as nice as you'd like to see sometimes, but again, a gapper that's moving down and using the 8 EMA as resistance, that I could play those all day long. If I could just find nothing but these, I'd be a happy person. So that was my trade. That was my one trade today, and it ended up being a good one. So that was it. Again, CVET, couldn't pull the trigger on that. Didn't know where to get in really, and wasn't, again, it was whippy, so it was kind of difficult to trade. And then the other one was Time. I call it Time, but it's 10-cent TME. Really wish I had taken that trade. A couple others I'm looking at right now is Abercrombie and Fitch right here. It's near VWAP. If it breaks above VWAP, could be an interesting move up. You've got a red bar ignored here on the 15-minute chart. So decent trade right here if it ends up getting above VWAP and holding it. So that's another one. A couple others I was looking at. CVET, I saw put a marker here. If it continued down, I was considering getting in. Luckily, I didn't. It held that little 10 EMA on the 15-minute chart. That's really about it. Nothing else going on. Oh, I did put a marker here for WWW around 25.32. Still hasn't moved much at all, so nothing big. But yeah, big one was BE, Bloom Energy. Got a nice quick drop and a nice little step here. One step sideways, two step, done. That's it. So hopefully I'll be back later in the week or tomorrow with some more trades to show you. I'm still trying to do some more pre-market trading, but haven't been finding anything really worth trading in the pre-market that suits my style. So good luck trading, and see you next time.